Okay, so we are officially in spooky season. We are in jumper weather. We are in Halloween Havoc season. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about NXT Halloween Havoc 2022. This is my first, I think, since NXT 2.0, the first special NXT special that I have watched. Because, let's be honest, NXT 2.0 has not been fantastic, and now it has been rebranded under the Triple H regime, and we have a card that I was genuinely excited for. I looked down the list of matches and I was like, okay, I can get on board with every single one of them. And this show as a whole, my review, was a mixed bag. Or not a mixed bag, it was a sandwich. Incredible opening, incredible end, weird stuff in the middle. Okay, kind of like a weird Subway order. So, yeah, this is my review. Please hit subscribe if you like wrestling content. I do a lot of wrestling content on the reg, so please hit subscribe for that. Please enjoy my review, like, comment. I want to know your thoughts on Halloween Havoc down in the comments below. And yeah, shall we just dive straight into the review where I tell you my thoughts, my feelings on every match, every angle, everything that happened. Shall we just get into it? So the show opened with the NXT North American ladder match, which featured Nathan Fraser taking on Oro Mensah, taking on Wesley, taking on Von Wagner, taking on Carmelo Hayes. This match absolutely slapped. This was an incredible ladder match. The North American ladder matches as a whole have been great. The inaugural has a very fond place in my heart, the one that Adam Cole won. This one was off the chain levels of good. Everyone in this match played their part perfectly. Even the blandest of bland, Von Wagner, played his role as big, menacing big man in the ladder match pretty well. Let's talk about the spot. The spot that blew up social media. Everyone was sharing it, where Von Wagner just picks up Wesley and gorilla presses him to the outside, throwing him a huge distance onto the announce table. One of the most spectacular spots I think I've ever seen in my life. It blew my mind when I saw it, and I was just enthralled with every spot they did. The moonsault Russian leg sweep from Nathan Fraser to Carmelo Hayes, again incredible. Nathan Fraser is just goddamn incredible. He should be NXT champion. He should be the one who dethrones Bron Breakker. Let me throw that into the ether. It was just an incredible spot after incredible spot, and the hilarious ladder bridge that Von Wagner tried to make and then very nearly took out a fan was insane. Followed by the frog splash through that ladder from Nathan Fraser, and then Von Wagner gets buried in like the guard rails that they have in NXT, and then it just escalated from there. Wesley, you thought had been taken out. You thought it was going to be Carmelo Hayes again, but no. Wesley, he does the Shelton Benjamin run up the slanted ladder onto the ladder, and he's the one who is victorious in the end. This match, there's just so many spots to run through, and yeah, you should really check this one out. This is a highlight of NXT, this match, and highlights the new guys in NXT. Some of them Vince's creation, some of them NXT UK bred, but honestly, great stuff, this match. I absolutely loved it. One of the best ladder matches of the year, so go out of your way to check this one out. And now we talk about the negs, the big negs of the show. So something I want to dive into that I can't remember if I did a video on this. I was thinking of doing a video on this. Is the new commentary teams. Vic Joseph and Booker T on commentary for NXT. I'm not going to lie to you. I never lie on this channel. I'm going to be completely blunt about this. This might get me some hate, but I thought the commentary tonight, or not tonight, because I'm recording this on Monday, the commentary for NXT Halloween Havoc was unbearably bad. Like, horrific. And what Booker T doesn't add much. He adds some wackiness, some zaniness, because you're like, what are you talking about? But my big issue is with Vic Joseph. Now, I've never been like a diehard Vic Joseph fan. I always thought he was serviceable. But what you're extremely lacking in NXT commentary is play-by-play. Because particularly in the Cora Jade match and the ambulance match in particular, they don't talk about moves. They just say, oh, I bet he's thinking this. And they're talking about like, oh, I bet she's got this running through her head. She feels this emotion. She feels that. And then it's just Vic Joseph going, ooh, 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 all the time. It was unbearably horrific to listen to because there's no sort of insight. They're not giving you an insight into the moves, into the strategies or anything like that. They're just like, I can't believe they're doing this. It's unbearably bad commentary to listen to. At least Raw commentary, which I think is a big step up. You have Michael Cole, who does pretty good play-by-play. You know, he's really good at that. No, is he on? No, SmackDown, sorry. SmackDown, my bad. And Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves are okay at this, but I like having wrestling moves described to me and match psychology. There's no psychology here at all. As much as, you know, it's surface level psychology, like I can't believe she's doing this. It's, at the end of the day, it's not good. It's not good commentary. It's very hard to listen to. And that was just emphasised even more in the next match, which was Grayson Waller taking on Apollo Crews in a casket match. In a match that was, I'm going to use the word, dreadful. I thought this was pretty pants and pretty rubbish. Because, yeah, while some of the work rate in it was okay, and the story didn't necessarily justify a casket match, if anything, right, this story should have been a fucking eye for an eye match or a blindfold match, something eye related, but no, it's a casket match. This was just really bad from a psychology perspective because I believe Grayson Waller is correct in his assumption that he won this match. So what happened was Grayson Waller chucked Apollo Crews through the casket, through the lid of the casket. Apollo Crews is in the casket. That to me has always sort of signalled a victory. You know? That should be a win. He's in the casket. He's through the lid, so you can't really close the lid on him. He's got, you know, the debris of the lid on top of him. But, yes, he really should have won that, Grayson Waller. I think he's very justified in his annoyance. And then the lights go out, Druids come down, bring another casket, and Apollo Crews wins. He hits a very nice sort of choke slam into the casket on Grayson Waller. But yeah, Grayson Waller's justified in his actions here. If he's pissed, I would be pissed because I fucking won. So yeah, I thought that was dumb. I thought this was a dumb match overall, and yeah, was not a fan of this at all. But also, I'm so rambly. I forgot to talk about this. I'd erased it from my mind, or tried to erase the spooky haunted house nonsense, bollocks that led up to the Alba Fire Mandy Rose match of Toxic Attraction going to a kayfabe haunted house. I don't know if they were supposed to be real people, real zombies, or anything like that in this, or if it's just a haunted house, in which case, why in kayfabe is JC Jane terrified? Either way, this fails on multiple levels because it wasn't good production design, it wasn't great acting, it wasn't great fighting, it was bad, all that stuff, really bad. That was the point where I was like, it's no wonder NXT struggles to get that younger demographic. I am not necessarily young. I'm 25 years of age, halfway to 50, kill me now. But yeah, this stuff, if I was a kid, I would be like, this is bad. I'm going to turn this off now. So, yeah, that is what that is. And to top off the nonsense, the sort of triple threat of nonsense we got a Chase University segment with Duke Hudson in there. And my God, this was badly acted. And I don't know if it's kind of the vibe they go for, because I don't watch NXT on the reg. I just tuned in for this card because it looked good. And I've watched the YouTube stuff to sort of get me invested in some of the stories. Oh, this was terrible. This Chase University thing was terrible. It was absolutely dog arse, so I'm not going to talk about it. Then we got Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez in a weapons something match. A weapon, I can't remember what they called it. It was basically a street fight. It was, because they had the spin the wheel thing with Chucky. I like Chucky. Chucky season 1 is a fantastic horror show if you haven't seen it. I haven't watched season 2. I know Liv Morgan's in it, but Chucky season 1 exceeded my expectations. I'd check out Chucky season 1 if you're into that sort of thing. Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. This to me was, I think it was good. It was okay. It just didn't seem to have the fire that sort of a blood feud like this should have. And I think that's due in part to the build, because Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez split after like a month or something like that. They didn't have like for instance, this should have been, and maybe this is hyperbole, but surely this should have been Gargano Ciampa levels of blood feud and that sort of fire, from that first match that Gargano and Ciampa had. Instead, it was a little bit clunky at the beginning. Some of the weapon shots were a bit off, a bit weird, a bit light, similar to the Ronda Rousey-Liv Morgan Extreme Rules match. Then it sort of built, it escalated a bit more, and they started brawling in the crowd, and then you got the big high spot where both get chucked off the platform through a table. I thought that was interesting enough. I think Roxanne Perez being like, I don't want to do this, and then sort of it was almost the Harry Potter Deathly Hallows things where let's finish this the way we started it together, where Cora Jade basically just pulls Roxanne Perez through the table. I thought that was quite interesting, and then it got into the ring and Roxanne Perez hits her finish on Cora Jade. I can't remember what it's called. It's a sunset flip powerbomb. And yeah, onto a couple of chairs. I thought it was a good finish. 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez picked up the win. Interesting stuff. I'm hyped to see them go their separate ways, particularly with what happened in the Women's Championship match. And maybe Roxanne Perez can be elevated to that scene again after Cora Jade cost her the Women's Championship opportunity that she had. So, overall a solid match. I think Roxanne Perez is great. I think Cora Jade's great at healing it up. I wouldn't be shocked to see Cora Jade just go to the main roster, really, because I think the only way this can sort of be elongated is if Roxanne Perez wins the belt and then they come back to this Cora Jade Roxanne Perez feud. I think maybe there they could get into some of the more complex dynamics, the Ciampa stuff, all that kind of stuff, because I think there is a making of a good blood feud here that could really be the highlight of NXT. And Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez for the Women's Championship could main event a network special or a takeover. Triple H should bring back takeovers. So I think there is good groundwork here. The match itself wasn't particularly gripping until the end, so yeah, solid enough stuff. Then we got the ambulance match. Damon Kemp versus Julius Creed of the Diamond Mine. I actually really enjoyed this match. I thought this was fun nonsense. Both guys are really good. Like, really good. I haven't actually watched too many Julius Creed matches, but Julius Creed is a standout for me. I think he's really, really fantastic. And they just had a fun brawl. You know, the crowd were chanting to use pumpkins. They very rarely use pumpkins. They used some at the beginning. But no, what I think hampered this match was the other steps being too similar, or this sort of coming straight after the Cora Jade Roxanne Perez match, because, you know, it was a big plunder match. We've just seen a big plunder match, so the variety in that, not particularly great. You know, we had the ladder match as well, which is full of plunder, full of ladder breaks and stuff like that. But no, I thought this was really solid, really hard hitting as well. And Julius Creed just established himself as like a top babyface, and I think the logical storytelling in this made sense. You know, he destroyed Damon Kemp at the end with a great finish by using the chair that Damon Kemp had brought out, hitting him 10 times like Kemp had done to his brother, and then hitting him that extra time. Really great stuff, really great storytelling, really great way to cap off this feud, and just carrying Damon Kemp to the ambulance, chucking him in the ambulance. I thought was great. I think the gnarly spot of very nearly Julius Creed losing and getting shot in the ambulance and just using his hands to block was nasty. That looked really nasty. It looked like it really hurt. I wouldn't want to do that. And yeah, I thought it was just a fantastic match. Really good stuff. Really great elevation for both guys. Rumour is the Creed brothers could potentially be making their way to the main roster. I think that'd be interesting as well. So yeah, I thought this was a highlight of the night for me. This was the pepperoni in the middle of the sandwich, if you will. Somewhere in here we got a Shotzi, Quincy Elliott Lash Legend bit. Okay, that was whatever. Shotzi was an okay host, I suppose, for Halloween Havoc. Didn't really need a host, but it is what it is. And then we got the payoff to the Alba Fire Mandy Rose stuff in a very quick match that was pretty okay, but surely the idea was to take out the members of Toxic Attraction so that they couldn't get involved, and then they just got involved, and Mandy won. Okay, she wins every match the same. Toxic Attraction interference. Bit tired of that, and it didn't make Alba Fire look particularly good. Pretty bad stuff. And then we got the main event. This is legitimately what I watched the pay-per-view for, and that was Bron Breakker versus JD McDonough versus Ilja Dragunov for the NXT Championship. Jordan Devlin and Ilja Dragunov have had one of my favourite matches of the year, which was the Empty Arena match in NXT UK. I think both guys are tremendous wrestlers, absolutely fantastic, and the way they played off their history in this match, I really loved. I do like JD McDonough's sort of new character, particularly in this triple threat, where it was sort of like Lex Luthor-esque, Batman v Superman, oh, these two are going to fight, and then I can come in and take over. So sort of playing Bron Breakker off Ilja Dragunov. I thought that was really interesting dynamic. And this match absolutely slapped. Primarily because of Ilja and Jordan Devlin. No slant on Bron Breakker, but he just doesn't have the character or the, moveset to be particularly great at the moment. I think he's a bit bland. He's just a sort of big, bland, big man. But Ilja and JD McDonough were just fantastic, and selling for Bron Breakker as well, and making him look like £1 million. Because, yeah, this was just an absolutely sick, chaotic triple threat match. It did play the sort of tropes of one of them would roll out, but the way they used it in the story, it was usually JD McDonough that would roll out and let Ilja and Bron Breakker go at each other, which I thought was great. A fantastic, one of the best near falls of the year. I think it came off a Torpedo Moscow on Bron, and it was so close to 3, and JD McDonough just rolls in and catches the hand of the ref. That is honestly one of the best near falls of the year. I was 100% convinced maybe they're going to put the belt on Ilja. My wish. That is what I wish they would do. But no, it was eventually maybe the wrong decision to pin Ilja Dragunov, who's just come in, but it was clean. A clean loss for Ilja as Bron Breakker hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. Bron Breakker retains. At this point, I don't know who dethrones Bron Breakker. My pick is Nathan Fraser, because Nathan Fraser showed in that ladder match that he is just an incredible wrestler. So I'd love to see him win the belt. But yeah, this was a really great main event, a really great triple threat. I thought it was sick. Really sick main event. And yeah, that sort of capped off this weird sandwich of a show that had an incredible opener, an incredible main event, a good, pepperoni slice in the middle of the ambulance match, and, some bland cheese, but all cheese is nice pretty much in the Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez match, and then gherkins everywhere else. The Apollo Crews match, the Mandy Rose match, the Mandy Rose Haunted House BS. Yeah, that's my sandwich analogy. Overall, I'd give this probably about a 2.5 out of 5. I don't think it was like, it wasn't terrible, but what was bad was really bad, and what was good was great, like those two matches. So 2.5 out of 5 for me for Halloween Havoc. I want to know what you guys thought down in the comments below. And yeah, let me know anything you want about Halloween Havoc or WWE or wrestling in general. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.